Tracy said she was completely ready to quit and give up on the current book she was working on. And the reason was because the ads had completely stopped working. And that's one of the reasons I'm recording this video today, which is 3 best Amazon ad strategies for beginners. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So, about 2 months ago, Tracy was living in New Zealand, and she had been working on her book for a period of time and trying to get sales on this book and running ads against the book without getting any traction. She wanted to get the ads to drive the traffic to the sales page on her book so that she could start seeing some sales coming through, since the book had been making literally just 1 or 2 or almost no sales at all. She wasn't able to figure out how exactly to use the ads platform best in order to get her book selling. The thing was she realized this may be the very last chance she really has to get this thing going. She didn't want to spend years working on this exact book and trying to see and just using hour after hour and thousands of dollars in order to get the book to sell if nobody really wanted to buy the book. And what was at stake was that she would be losing the incomes that she could be earning from this. She wasn't even sure that maybe moving on to another book would work. If this one didn't work, then maybe it was worth completely giving up. And that would mean losing a lot of the passive income that comes through books when they're properly optimized and selling. She began to wonder maybe she didn't even have what it takes in order to get her books to sell. And so what she had done first was she set up her book and was getting no sales. She had the sales page and she had her book. It was published. She had the cover. She had hired this out and made sure everything looked great, but it still wasn't getting any sales. Then she thought she was watching some of my videos and realized maybe I should run ads. So she set up her ads and started running them against her videos to see if maybe that would work on getting some sales to her book. The problem is that also did not actually result in any sales. At this point, she was ready to give up, and so she saw my offer to do coaching sessions, and so she booked a coaching session with me. And we sat down and looked through her book, and let's take a look at what happened. So the first thing we found was that the book itself was not optimized, because no matter how many ads you run, if they get to your sales page and the sales page isn't actually selling your book, you're still going to lose this whole self-publishing game. The ads are not going to work. No matter how great the ads are, they can't compensate for a problem on the sales page. We found a couple issues. The first thing we found was we did an exploration of the niche that she had written in and found that it was not a very profitable niche. But that doesn't mean she needed to give up. She just simply needed to modify the niche that she was in, if that makes any sense. So for example, if she were targeting oak trees as the topic, I don't discuss the exact topics these people have, but oak trees, and most people really don't care about oak trees, they care about birch trees. Well, then sometimes we can modify the book a bit in order to hit what our target audience, what people are actually searching on and looking on YouTube for, or on Amazon for, in order to ensure that they're going to be happy with what we're doing. And so that was one of the things. We also saw she had no reviews, and so she needed to get those reviews in there. At least one positive review was essential, whether friends or family or whatever it takes in order to get one positive review so that we actually can concede it, so that people will, when we're running the ads, they're going to see that review thing that was in there. Their bio was completely off. It didn't comment on her as being interested in the subject that she was writing, let's say trees, for example. Rather, it was saying, oh, I sort of like trees, and so I thought I'd write this book, which is a very inferior one. It didn't establish it. So and the description was just a wall of text. So fixing a lot of these things was the first thing. And strangely enough, this is a key aspect to getting your ads to convert and to get people to actually buy your book. But the thing is that wasn't the main problem. The other problem is that just getting them to click it all on the ads. So I gave her my top 3 strategies for the ads. The first thing is you need a different campaign for your paperback book and your Kindle book, so that your ebook, so we don't have the data mixing on the two. We need to know whether we're earning or losing. So that was our first basic strategy we needed to do. The second thing is we set up auto targeting on the keywords. So this is the second basic level strategy. When you have your ads account set up with Amazon, and we're going to set a budget of $1 a day, we put on automatic targeting for those keywords that we're targeting. And then we have 15 cents per click. And this is the combination as the starter, the beginner level strategy that we're using with regards to our ads. And I talked Tracy through each of these steps during our session. in our follow-up after that session, as I normally do with my coaching clients, we continue on the discussion in order to make sure that we're able to implement it. But the problem was Tracy still was getting no clicks. At this point, I pulled in the big guns, which would be using Publisher Rocket to find better keywords in order to do this. In addition, she raised the budget even higher and tested out these new keywords we were doing. Now, we still, even at this point, were unable to get this book, people to click on the ad, which of course is a problem if you're in a niche or sub-niche or genre where people are not actually searching or buying books in that specific genre. And believe it or not, I regularly deal with coaching clients who are focused on books and trying to get them to sell when nobody is searching for the topic that they are writing their books on. Recently, I did a coaching session this last week with someone exactly in this category. This person was in Bangladesh and they were doing tech books. So they were doing books on different technologies like a MacBook and things like that. And the problem was exactly, which is that we found the MacBook, latest MacBook, nobody's buying books on that subject. We could see the top ranked books and they just weren't selling. But back to Tracy, we looked at her title and said, we need to change this title to make a benefit proposition in the title, as opposed to saying fancy trees in your garden, to make your trees fancy in your garden, or get the trees to grow better in your garden. So the title shift, having a promise of a value that we would be delivering, changes the nature of this. Now, Tracy has not yet tested this out, but I told Tracy, do not give up on your book. We simply need to change the title and the value proposition of what's going on so that we are, even with a poor keyword. In other words, the title itself, it's a poor keyword. It's one that a lot of people are not searching for. We still can make money off of this book. We just have to optimize that sales page, optimize the way we're running the ads against that sales page in order to trigger the sales. Now, Tracy is feeling optimistic. I don't know whether or not this will actually work for her specific book, but these strategies are so powerful. They have earned me tens of thousands of dollars since I started. It was these very strategies when I started running my ads and began to realize I need to write books for the markets of which people exist, and I need to target those titles, subtitles, reviews specifically towards the direction of the people who are interested in buying my books. And that was a very incredibly powerful one that was doing that. And the other thing that we also focused on was using that time, a little bit of time every single day, and making sure that with your time management that Tracy was doing, that she would be able to make the success that she wanted without getting demotivated. And that's one of the reasons, if you're struggling with time management, you're going to want to check out these 3 key strategies above me here. Thanks.